Oh, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back in the building.
I'm here.
Jordan JC. Welcome back.
Hey, how's it going?
We thought you died. We thought we lost you.
I'm with the living now.
Thought there may have been a bird situation going on. We didn't know if you were murdered.
We did. I got a new contract extension with them. We were
new contract extension with the birds, do you?
That's right.
All righty.
We're on the same team.
Breeze Nation, what's good? It's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Final cut down day is here. Woo. We got to talk about some of the surprise names out there. And I'll tell you what, Jordan JC, I'm not going to say it solves the issue. There may be some left tackle help out there that's a little bit close to Ben Johnson. Should we be interested in that? Then we got to look at some of the names that have been released. Some of the guys that maybe, we didn't expect to be released.
Yeah.
I think there's one big name on there that some people may be surprised by, and Dan Wiederer may be projecting some things. Dates 8/26/2025, 7:06 in the morning. And Jordan JC, I don't know if you've been outside yet or not, but it's a big boy summer. Let's go. Yeah, it's big boy summer, baby.
Is that right?
Oh, 70 degrees outside.
Yeah.
You can put a hoodie on to hide that gut and not look like a weirdo like Jordan in the summertime.
Hey. I wear hoodies all year
round. It makes absolutely no sense. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Drop the FGBs in the chat. Drop hoodie season in the chat. It's hoodie season.
You know what?
No, please keep yourself clothed, buddy.
That's right.
Oh boy, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on, push the button. Come on, push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. How you feeling, JC? Welcome back to the land of the living, my guy. You were down bad.
Good Lord. I was dead there for about a week or so.
We thought we lost you.
No, you know what it was? Have you ever been to the like a water park and you go to the part where all the kids are, where they have the waves that start up and stuff? I was in the wave section, and unfortunately I took a nice big drink of that one of the times I went under. So I already knew ahead of time I was going to be sick. There's a lot of stuff that's mixed in with that water, so I don't even want to get into it.
Well, JC, most of us in the chat learned a lesson when we were very young. Don't open your mouth underwater.
I know.
I'm so confused by your struggle. When you texted me this, that you thought that was your issue, I was like, bro, are you just out here just mouth open underwater, just trying to swim like a fish, trying to breathe?
That wave was pretty strong.
Are you gills out in there?
Trying to get a little air. That's all that was. Jeez.
That's terrible.
I'm good.
When you sent me that, I was like, oh, he's not. That's not smart. I don't know what to do with this. I'm not gonna lie to you.
There's a lot of stuff in that water, so I knew I was down for the count.
Oh boy, got a little. Never mind. That was.
Yep.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's talk a little bit of football. Pterodactyl Pops. Ain't no steaks under that water.
No steaks.
Yeah, he was down there with that steak juice, baby. Nah, man. Let's talk a little football, because I thought this was interesting and in a good place for us to start here with the Chicago Bears, because a name out there that I would say this is probably a surprise cut, although I don't know if it's one that fixes the issue. But I saw this news come across yesterday. Dan Skipper released by the Detroit Lions. There's a lot of reasons why this could make sense for the Chicago Bears. First of all, being that the Bears basically don't have a left tackle that they feel comfortable with. I think that you are seeing that pretty much from the commentary on that position from Dan Richard and from Ben Johnson. Even yesterday, kind of talking to Declan Doyle when we got the opportunity to speak with him at the podium. And we had, look, do you feel like there is a guy who has really taken over this job? Are you ready to say that Braxton is the winner of this job? Yeah, he's cold like that.
He's a cool guy.
Winner fresh. But do you feel like you're ready to say that Braxton is the winner of this job? And he's like, I leave that for the coach. And, we like the things that we've seen from him. And basically the patented
cliche answers.
Yeah. Anything to say, we got who we got.
It's still
and listen, I'm not sitting here coming to you guys and telling you, Dan Skipper, I think he's going to come in, he's going to be the answer. What I am saying is I think that it's a name that does exactly what Dan Skipper was. A backup left tackle that can step in and start for you, and you feel comfortable about him. You don't have to worry about him possibly knowing the system. He's been in the system. He's been somebody who I think that, and it's not to say there's not more left tackle help possibly coming, but I think this one is kind of a layup in my mind. While, yes, you do want to develop Theo Benedette, I could tell you, I've seen it up close and personal. I don't think we're ready to see Theo Benedette hit the starting field and be comfortable about it. Your thoughts, Jordan JC?
I mean, if you want to, take another person from the Lions, I'm fine with that. Dan Skipper, primary backup, like you said, to Panay and Taylor for a couple seasons now. Yeah. I looked up his PFF stats. I think primarily at left tackle. He moved around a little bit, but primarily he was at left tackle. Took, I want to say, a little over 240 snaps there last year, I want to say, and only gave up 1 sack. And so, I mean, you take that for what you will. I mean, he seems like a steady presence. Of course, we're still questioning whether or not we have left tackle solidified. We're still questioning whether or not Braxton Jones is going to be the answer moving forward. It apparently looks like that. I don't know what happened to Ozzie Trapillo. That was my guy, but apparently they're moving him over to be the backup to Darnell Wright. So I like this supposed move, maybe if we were to bring him in the building. Now, the only thing is there's a possibility the Lions could actually bring this guy back. Because I was reading an article that said that, there could be some wiggle room where they're just allowing for some of the other names. I mentioned some progress that their 4th-round pick, Giovanni Manu, I don't know if it says Manu or Manu, made on their team. So maybe they're making space for them, but they could also bring Skipper back. It mentions to sign back with the team after some necessary roster maneuvering. And so this could be just kind of a smokescreen, but even if it's not, hey, Dan Skipper, again, is a name that is connected to Ben Johnson, that he's familiar with, that you want to bring in here and say, hey, you go right here and plug in that left tackle position. I would say as a backup, to me, could he be better than Braxton Jones? Braxton Jones is a 5th-round pick, right?
5th-round pick, yeah.
5th-round pick. So, I mean, can you do better than a 5th-round pick? That's my question. So I wouldn't mind the possibility of having some competition being brought in the likeness of Dan Skipper.
Yeah, like and it's an insurance move to me, right? Dan Skipper, 6'9", 317. He's 30 years old.
That dude is huge.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I feel like, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, like you said, you look at his numbers last year. I would say 2 years ago probably was his best year. Again, still under Ben Johnson. He had a 67 overall grade, 76 pass blocking grade, 71 run blocking grade on 322 snaps. He's not a guy that I'm looking to see come in here and play an entire season, or all of a sudden he gets his opportunity to be the starting left tackle. But I do think, as far as you talk about with depth and consistency, you can count on a guy like that to come in here. And I don't feel like you have that right now at any point with the left tackle position. You truly go from Braxton Jones, who we feel like is I mean? Like you know what you're getting with Braxton. And then you go into kind of this, okay, yes, we have this with Brax, but then is it Ozzie? Is it Theo? And I would assume Ozzie, right, probably ends up being the swing tackle. Why you have a guy on both sides here, where he's working out on the right side, but he also got a ton of work in the beginning on that left side, and you're just trying to get him comfortable on that left side. I think you also have to have a conversation on a guy like Karan Amagaji, who is just a failure at this point. I shouldn't say failure. That's a bad way to say that. Is a failed pick at this point, an underperforming pick at this point. And I think that's the, I go out there at every practice and I'm just like, he exists.
Got to do more than that.
He exists. He in fact does have on a jersey and shoulder pads. And you're not seeing enough from it. And I think that's the biggest thing for me with the question marks that you have at that left tackle position, and why I do look at Dan Skipper as a guy who can go out there and actually get some help or be some help for this team. And maybe even, listen, I know the mentor thing is not what anybody's looking to do. And that's not, like, I feel like at this point, asking the players about mentorship is futile. And I'm tired of people doing it, because it's like, nobody was brought in here. It was like, we need you to teach these boys the ropes. But like, I don't know why he was a Southern prospector.
Let me tell you something, boy. You get in here.
You gotta come teach these boys the ropes. I get a little choked up there. But, I think having an opportunity to have somebody who comes in already understands the scheme from that position, that could be an asset to a lot of the guys on that left side that you're trying to build up here.
Yeah, as a veteran, I mean, if that scenario plays out where we were to bring him here and he's available still, and you bring in a Dan Skipper, I think that would do wonders, even kind of solidifying that left tackle position, just because the one thing that we said was the issue. Well, we know what the issue is with Braxton Jones. He's scoreable against the bull rush and the speed rush. Dan Skipper, Ozzie Trapillo, it seems like his foot speed isn't there yet to kind of keep up with the pass rush moves. And so that's where that experience kind of has to kind of play a role for him. I think that he'll be fine the more and more we get into the season. But with Dan Skipper, I think you put him next to an all-pro like Joe Thuney, I think that's where you have more confidence in somebody like him, even though he is technically considered a backup in this league. That's where I find the confidence when bringing a guy like him in here, is because you put him next to a guy that is really, really good at his role. It can also elevate, his play. And so that's where I'm like, okay, could you put him in there and then maybe have Braxton as the backup? And now you have, like you mentioned, Trapillo as that swing tackle, maybe start, trying to train him to get in on the inside, maybe be a guard as well. So, you have multiple depths at the different lineman positions. So it's a wait and see thing. Like I said, I don't know if Lions are just kind of trying to play this the smart way, where they kind of let him go and then they might be bringing him back. But again, it's a name to consider.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to. I don't want to Ryan Bates this. Don't think of him as more. You know what I mean? Think of him as what he had: 322 snaps a year. Somebody that knows the system. Somebody that can come in and speak offensive line language to the left tackles that are there, to a guy like you mentioned with Ozzie Trapillo and things like that, where you're working with these guys. Like, that's really all I'm hoping to see if the Bears were to bring in Dan Skipper.
Yeah,
I don't live in this world where you've been a backup left tackle your entire career on a team that has really good left tackles, and now all of a sudden you're going to come in and you're going to be a starting left tackle. Like, it truly is, for me, come into the building, be exactly what you are, the backup. Because I also don't think, when I look at Theo Benedict's learning to go from the right side to the left side, very similar to what Ozzie Trapillo's learning. That's going to be something that he has to overcome, and it's going to be a struggle for him, and he's not nearly as good, I guess, on the left side, and I don't know if he was all that great on the right side. So it's one of those things where it's like you're living in this world where you're going to bring in the backup or left tackle in Detroit to be your starter. Like, I don't think that's a world that really ends up working out. So I would rather see I guess, for lack of a better word, the mentorship of Ozzie Trapillo and the Canadian Eagle down there, from a guy who's been in this system and has played this system.
I guess the reason why I wouldn't see an issue, or I wouldn't think it would be much of a problem if you gave him more snaps and you tried to at least see what he can do in a more full-time starting role, is because he's coming from a team that has some of the better linemen in the league. And so if you think about it, it's like, well, you're not going to beat out Taylor Decker, you're not going to beat out Panay Sewell, but the fact that they trust you behind two of the elite linemen in the league, what outside of them two, I would say Philly probably has the best linemen, the best two linemen, 1-2 punch. I would
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
Detroit is right there with them. And so I guess that's the only reason why I wouldn't even compare him to a Ryan Bates, because Ryan Bates came from Buffalo, which had
Came from a good
I
system.
don't know what the tackles were, but my point is, I think that I could see him putting in more time as a starter, just because if Brax can do it as a fifth rounder, I feel like, well, why can't Dan Skipper? I guess that's where my mind is going. But I see what you're saying. You're saying, don't give him too much. It's like some people are really good in a role where it's like the backup quarterback conversation. Like, everybody wants, for whatever reason, Tyson Bagent to take over the starting position, but they fail to realize that he's going against the second and third stringers, and that usually the more time that you have your backups out there, they start to show kind of their weaknesses in their hand a little bit. And so I get that aspect, but then there's the question of, well, if you do give him a little bit more to chew on, can he actually give you more success? Can he give you more good stats? Can he give you more steady production? And so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. I probably would stay away from it at this point as far as a starter. I'd love it as far as a depth piece for this team. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. We'd be down to talk with you guys as well. By the way, we are over 100 in a chat. Over 200 in a chat. 200. Is that a little lean with it, rock with it? What is that?
Yeah, I'm trying something new. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not doing it. Do the sway.
Your girl told you stop pumping on camera, didn't she?
No. She had a problem with the pumps. I just bring something new.
Okay.
New me.
All right, let's see if we like the sway. What have you birds done with Jordan JC? I know it's the birds in there. Jordan would never sway.
This is AI.
Joey Sandwich in the building. He said, play Ozzy. Call protection to help him out and just go with it. No better options right now. Braxton is not 100%. Karan just isn't there.
Ain't happening.
I feel like tackle is one of those positions, and I get it. I understand. We want to see something new, and Ozzy is by far. I would rather see Ozzy learn, but again, you have to think about what the Bears' goal is this season. You have to think about what the Bears' goal is this season. If this was a development, figure it out, hope to win 7-8 games kind of season, yeah, you put the rookie out there and you figure it out. That's not what Ben Johnson is saying. I know people want to believe what they want to believe. That's not what Ben Johnson is saying. Ben Johnson is saying we want to go out here and win. What gives you the best chance to win right now? You got dogs on that left side coming at you every single week. And I ain't saying that Braxton's the best option, but I think you got to do two things here. One, he may be the best option for right now until you feel like Ozzy Trapillo is ready. And sometimes that takes time. You want to see him get some NFL reps, not versus the scariest man on the field.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to get when you go up against the Vikings, especially with all of the blitzes that they're going to send. That's what you're going to get when you go up against the Lions with Aiden Hutchinson. If the Cowboys work this thing out, now we're starting to see guys get paid. Trey Hendrickson paid yesterday,
he got the money.
Right? With the Cowboys, it could get spooky there. You got Max Crosby with the Raiders. You got the Commanders. The Saints, Cam Jordan, yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, the Ravens, like the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson's back. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to see him. Like, there is this part where I think tackles are kind of like pitchers in baseball, where as much as trial by fire could help him, it could also destroy them completely.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And that's a lot of fire.
Yeah. I think, you said it best before, because I was kind of warming up to the idea that Man, because I mean, even when we drafted him, I go back to this all the time. One of the strengths that they put on the draft profile was he's like an instant starter, right at left tackle. Like he could start right away. But my thing is, if you get this guy in his head and he already has been defeated by some of the best in the league, and he can't recover from that, then you got to go back to Braxton Jones anyway.
Yeah.
And so why not just kind of start in the reverse where, you know what you kind of got with Braxton. He has the experience. He has his good days. He had his bad moments. We clearly know his weaknesses, but maybe he'll give you a good steady 1 or 2 or 3 games. And then you allow Ozzie to continue to strengthen himself, just see the game speed, understand the plays, understand the schemes, and learn from, the sideline. And so I think maybe that is the best way to go.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here. Let us know how you guys feel. Like I said in the comments below, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We got to take a quick break, listening to a word from our sponsors. And on the other side of this, we got to talk about some of the cuts that were made yesterday. I think there was one obvious surprise player for a lot of people, even though I had put a tweet out kind of like, who gets that last running back spot? And people were like, it's crazy to me. How does Travis Homer make that team? Y'all don't understand football. But appreciate y'all for tuning in to the show. Love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. 285 in the building, 53 likes on the video. Let's get over 100 likes on this mug, man. Let's cue a word from our sponsors at Aura. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have 1 or 2 of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, we got merch. That's right. New website, new merch, all out. We've been telling you guys to pull up on us. Now you can at twcbreeze.com, where you can find out all of the latest stuff going on. What all can they find there, Super Producer?
Listen, you can join the nation, sign up to our mailing list, and be up to date for events and news. You can also visit the shop page and order merch, because we have t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got mugs, we got hats, we got all kind of stuff. So, hey, we appreciate you being tuned in with us. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube page and follow us on all our socials. Check us out at twcbreeze.com.
He's way too excited.
I am.
Oh, it's always the perfect time of year for that scary music right there from Joel. I don't know what. Oh, God! They're coming for us.
Love it.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in to show. Love as always, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Talking about possibility of getting some left tackle help in the building. A Dan Skipper name on the market. Somebody you would be interested in? Let us know in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going here, Jordan JC, because we got some roster cuts yesterday. Mm-hmm. It seemed like some people were shocked, miffed even, bemused.
Bamboozled.
Bamboozled. Led astray. They had no answers for how on God's green earth we could cut some of these names. Oh, God, please. Ian. Listen.
That's your guy.
Shout out to Dr. Wheeler. Unfortunately.
Calling Dr. Wheeler.
Paging Dr. Wheeler. Paging Dr. Wheeler. Now he can go begin his probable career of actually going to medical school and becoming an amazing doctor. But yesterday, I mean, now we're up to a good group of guys that were waived at the point that we're at right now. A list of everybody right now on IR. Terrell Smith is there. Now, we do know that there's a possibility that we could see some guys go to short-term IR here as well to start the season. But we don't know just where that's going to be at. Roshan Johnson, a candidate for that. And I believe Ian Wheeler may have been on that list as well, but we'll kind of see what ends up happening there with the running back room. Hey, you may get a Kyle Manung guy sooner than you think. But on IR, Terrell Smith, non-football injury, Zay Frazier. Still no clue what that is, but
I'm saying
at this point, I mean, it's concerning. You got Swayze Bozeman, linebacker wave, Chris Glazer, Thomas Gordon, tight end, Mark Perry, DB, Samari Toure, wide receiver, Jeremiah Walker, DB, Joel Wilson, tight end, Millard Bradford, DB, Xavier Carlton, D-line, Alex Cook, DB, Powers Eccles, linebacker, Caleb Hayes, DB, Austin Reed has been waived, ladies and gentlemen. Austin!
You kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, of course you did. Joel Wilson, tight end. Trey Flowers was released. Royce Freeman was released. Joshua Mills was released. And then Ian Wheeler was waived. Any surprises in there for you, Jordan JC? Did you think Dr. Wheeler would be on this team? Did you think Austin Reed had a chance?
Honestly, once we got Britton Brown and he actually kind of displayed some really nice plays in the preseason, I kind of thought the writing was on the wall for Ian Wheeler. Now, that's not to say that Ian Wheeler didn't hold his own, because in the last game against the Chiefs, he had, I believe it was the Chiefs, he had 2 touchdowns. And so he displayed why he should be on a team. But I think because of the depth of all the running backs we have, even though we haven't really showcased Kyle Manung guy because he's dealing with like an apparent injury as well, non-disclosed. I don't know if they've given some detail on that, but you have him, of course. Roshan, I don't know what's going on with Roshan. He seems like he's on the fence too, but Britton Brown
seems like he's going down the same Roshan path.
Yes, exactly. And really, we don't know why, because it's not like they've given him chances to show what he can do. My thing is with Ian Wheeler, it's just the depth. Like we have the guys that we need. Hopefully, he doesn't have to go immediately into the medical field. I mean, maybe there's a team that saw what he did against the Chiefs and was like, you know what? We might use you as our running back 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Or put you in special teams or whatever. So maybe his NFL career isn't over yet. Hopefully, you wish him well with that. I'm just glad that he got through this preseason without injury, because that was the unfortunate thing last year with him. And so, outside of that, no surprise here. Again, like I mentioned, Austin Reed, the quarterback that we've had on our roster for a couple of years now. We already got, obviously Tyson Bagent, who just signed the 2-year deal extension. And then, of course, you have the veteran behind him. And so we didn't need him there either. So there's no surprise names. Royce Freeman, I remember him being a name who he was kind of decent with Denver in his younger years. I do remember that name. But again, running back room is full of good guys already. So no surprises.
Yeah, listen, I think it comes down to special teams. I like Ian Wheeler as a running back. And I truly do. I like Ian Wheeler as a running back. I think that, he's a solid piece to have on your team as a running back, but it comes down to the special teams things for me. And I think for the Bears on these final few spots, yesterday, literally at practice, was an all special teams practice while everybody else kind of did their individual drills.
Yeah.
And it was just literally us watching people run down and block punts and, on kickoff, and you're trying to find those last few guys on the team. And I think here's the big thing. Because we talk about these cuts here and kind of where this roster is at. In years past, we've talked about these cuts as, oh, man, he could have been an impactful piece. That could have been a serious piece. I don't want to see none of the guys that we about to keep. Because if we see them, probably means we've gone through a lot of bodies.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see the last running back on the roster. Like, honestly, you know, it's Ian Wheeler and Kyle Monangai who I said were the two that I didn't feel like were locks for this running back room if you kept four guys. I thought that Travis Homer, you know, was on that list. I thought Roshan Johnson. I thought DeAndre Swift was on that list of locks. Here's my thing. I don't want to see Travis Homer run the football. Travis Homer's a lock because he plays special teams.
Special teams, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Travis Homer's a lock because you can count on him and you never have to worry about him on special teams. He just goes out there, he does his job, and he's able to play all four phases. Like, there's certain names here where, not to say you don't care, because I do think that there's some help out there, but it is very tough for me to sit here and go, you know, the last guy on the roster, the Ian Wheelers of this roster, man, I can't wait to see what this guy's going to do, because he's probably not going to do anything. Listen, my guy JP Richardson still on the roster. He's on that final day of cut down guys. And I'll be honest with you. I know we've had a lot of conversation around Jadae Walker, and I think Jadae Walker is, you know, a really good player. I'm very intrigued when we're talking about surprise cuts here. I'm very intrigued to see how they view him on special teams, because he will not catch passes on this team.
Mm.
He'll probably be lucky to see 5 balls get thrown his way if he ends up playing this year.
He did make that tackle after that catch, after the winning touchdown.
He did. He made the final tackle in the game. I'm very intrigued to see that, because, again, a guy where it may not make sense.
Yeah.
But Tyler Scott's good on special teams.
Yeah.
Tyler Scott both ways is good on special teams. I didn't pick Tyler Scott to make this team.
Yeah, I wouldn't have called that
But
either.
If you're talking about a guy who could play both ways on special teams, who can come in and be a wide receiver, who I actually think can catch the football, like, you may end up with Jadae Walker, who's made all these plays in preseason, not on this team. Now, I do think the Bears like him. I think he's fine in special teams. But there is that chance, depending on where he ranks as far as special teams. If I can't use you there, because that's where I'm going to have to use you most of the game.
Yeah.
Jadae, if we get to the point where Jadae Walker's in at wide receiver, we're in trouble. We've lost a lot of people. Because you got to think, we got like 7 pass catchers in the starting lineup.
Yeah, bro. That'd be crazy if Jadae Walker's in the game. That would be nuts.
It's no disrespect to Jadae Walker. I hope he makes the team. I think that he's done enough to make the team. And when you put in that work, I think you deserve the job that comes with it, right? But y'all know I want a JP Richardson. JP, not a great special teamer.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to make this team.
But see, I love it that we're at the point on this team now, at least at this position group, among others, where you have a good problem to have, because you're talking about, you know, the depth on the wide receiver, where it's DJ, it's Rome, it's Luther, it's Olamide, it's Devin, it's just, you know, you go on and on. You know, it's a talented, stacked roster at wide receiver. And so, unfortunately, even though these guys have really put out some really good performances, and I think even outside of that, didn't Jadae Walker have another touchdown that was meaningful?
Jadae Walker had 2 big touchdowns in preseason.
Yeah, he
had a good preseason.
Really, really good work. And so, you know, the good thing again, and even though we root for the Bears, you love that, you know, possibly these guys have put enough on resume and on film where maybe they can get picked up by another team and continue their career and possibly carve out a role. But if they can stay here, and like you said, some of them may not necessarily be special teamers, you hope that somehow they get at the bottom of the depth chart. Because, yeah, I do agree, Tyler Scott, you keep him here because he's somebody who can return kicks and can return punts.
Yeah.
If like a Devin Duvernay goes down, he's been in that role before. So you don't necessarily need him just here just for being that wide receiver, you know, fill in. So we'll see. Again, I love Jadae. I do like the JP Richardson story as well. But unfortunately, like I said, it's a good problem to have where we just have too many good players at wide receiver.
Man, I was talking with Herb yesterday, and I was like, bro, like being a wide receiver, a tight end on this team had to suck. Like, you're not making this team. Like, you got, I think it's truly like, I know I have to be a special teams contributor because there's zero chance I'm going to be a good enough wide receiver to impress because they have these guys in position. Not because of talent, because they have these guys in a position to be that next level. You already got a DJ Moore in place. You got Rome Odunze. You added Luther Burden. Like, who you go? OZ breaks out. Now maybe you were surprised. Maybe that's who you thought you was gonna be able to beat, right? You was like, oh, here we go, baby. I got him. Wait a minute. OZ's pretty good too.
Yeah, no. Hold on.
Like that. It's tough to put yourself in that position, and you know that you're fighting for 2 or 3 spots realistically on the team, which means you're not even going up against the next best wide receiver. You might be going up against the next best tight end. So, but no, I think we got to talk about this name as well as a potential surprise cut here, Jordan JC. This was brought up yesterday, and then I do want to get to. We may not get to this fantasy football segment. We've been running our mouths. Don't worry, you can talk fantasy all week, my boy, because I got 2 drafts this weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, I got a draft. Got a draft Sunday. Got a draft Monday. I can't wait to.
Are we in one together?
I think so. Yeah, I'm in the BFL.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But we saw this yesterday, and you interpret this as you want, but talking about a surprise cut from Dan Wiederer. He said the Bears are continuing through their roster cuts today ahead of the Tuesday deadline. Biggest question for me revolve around the offensive line depth preferences and backfield depth, of course, 100%. Wide receiver 6, I'm right, Jadae Walker or Tyler Scott, I don't care. And Big Bill. Now, I only know one Big Bill on this team.
Yeah.
And that is Mr. Andrew Billings. Usually there is a surprise cut, from just about every team when you start to have some talent in the building. But could there be a Andrew Billings cutting on this team? Billings 30 years old right now. We know, he's kind of that run stuffer. I would say with some of the question marks that we had against the run, I would not like to see Andrew Billings be removed from this team. I think contract-wise, you're talking about Big Bill. I think he's making $4 million. So it's not like you're saving this tremendous amount of money. If you were moving on from Andrew Billings, he's making $2 million in base. He got $1 million signing bonus. He's literally making $3 million this year. If you're moving on from Andrew Billings, I would assume you're cutting from Peter to pay Paul at another position. And could that be the running back position with some of the names that are out here?
I don't see a reason to do that. You start on a good team with working within the trenches. We talked about why it's so important to have your linemen, set, and your defensive linemen set. And Billings has been a steady force when on the field and when healthy for the last couple of years. A huge stopgap for the run. Like you cannot get past that guy most times. I'm not understanding why he's on the fringe of being let go. I'm not understanding where that rumor started or why that's even news.
It started from Dan Wiederer right there. That's where it started.
I don't know. I'm not understanding why that's a story in my opinion, because he should be one of the staples at the interior. I understand we got Grady Jarrett, and maybe that's the thinking, is that we've solidified it now even more so with him. We even have a Dangbo who we just paid a lot of money to be a edge rusher, but also he has the versatility to play inside. Then you got Javon. Then perhaps do you even go, with not Zach Pickens, but
Shamar Turner?
Yes, Shamar Turner, who we just drafted. And so there's a lot there potentially that could get in the way. But Billings being the starter since last year, I would think that he would have already kind of solidified his role on this team. And that turnstile of whoever they're going to bring in for the interior. And so, outside of you mentioning saying, okay, well, are they trying to free up a little bit of money? His contract is not that expensive, but are they trying to free up to go and maybe solidify running back? That to me, that doesn't make sense. DeAndre Swift seems like he's going to be the focal point. And then you already got Monunga. You got Britton Brown that you just brought in, who seems like a decent piece as a backup. So who are you going out here to get? Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, listen, I would say it is a move that, like you said, you feel a lot more confidence on the interior. Maybe there's some inside-outside ability with Dio Adengbo as well. It definitely not outside because he has not looked great in this preseason. He's looked better in practice, but he has not looked great in this preseason. Although in practice he's going up against Braxton Jones. But what I will say is this: I wouldn't want you to cut Big Bill, but sometimes you do have to make certain moves to try and put yourself in a stable position at other spots. Could there be a trade on the horizon? And that's some of the money that you need to open up. Could you be looking to trade for a left tackle? Baki just, tagged me in this on Twitter and he just dropped it in here. Texans left tackle Cam Robinson seems like he might be on the market. And for if the Bears were to trade for him, they'd only have to pay him $4 million this year.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it could be like I said, a Rob Peter to pay Paul kind of move. It's not a move that you like. It's not a move that you feel great about. Somebody's going to get a really nice piece in Andrew Billings if you do move on from him.
Man.
But it is, again, there's always, when your team is good or when you feel like your team has talent, there's always a surprise cut. Mm. There's always a guy that you look at, like I wouldn't do this for a running back. I see people talking about Audric Estime. Pay him $11. Tell him get his butt in here and run the football.
I'm good on Estime.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with you taking a chance on him. I got $250,000 for you.
You just got Cameron guy. I'm good on Estime.
I mean, honestly, yeah. Let Kyle Monunga. The only thing you don't have any depth at running back right now. Like Britton Brown really might make this team. Yeah, but. It's one of those things where a Rob Peter to pay Paul kind of conversation on, yes, this might not be the best move for the defensive line, but could it be something that we do on the offensive line? Or, I mean, honestly, could you be talking about a Billings for Cam Johns or Cam
right there, along with obviously, maybe shoring up the right side on edge for a defensive end. But if you're letting go a really good piece in Billings, then I need you to bring back a sufficient piece as well. That actually makes sense for what we need. And so if you go that route, and you mentioned that Cam, could be in the $4 million range, you letting go of Billings for the 3, then okay, I can see where that could match up. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. Cam Robinson, last year, overall grade, he played 999 snaps. He had 13 penalties. He allowed 7 sacks.
How many did Braxton give up? Wait a minute now.
Well, Braxton gets counted for none, so it ain't great. But his pass, the one thing I will say, his pass blocking grade is a lot higher. He also went to Minnesota, where you had a statue standing back there in Sam Darnold by the end of the year. So that could play a part into it. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is something the Bears are looking for in the run blocking game. He is just not good. It's not his strength. It's not his strong suit. He's a highly penalized player. Is it worth it for you to do that? But when he's in there, he can play. And I'll be honest with you. Is it this conversation? The one we had about Dan Skipper. You need somebody who's a viable backup option in there, or you turn Braxton Jones into the viable backup option. Is that worth moving on from Andrew Billings for, who is a backup? You're trading a backup for a backup? I would probably rather have, like I said at the beginning, I'd probably rather have Big Bill.
Yeah.
But I understand the conversation that Dan's bringing up in the context of if you go out there and you try to acquire a left tackle, if you go out there and you try to acquire maybe even some edge help. You know what I mean? Like there's some of the guys that have been released here. Is this a move simply you're moving on from Andrew Billings to open up money to go get Za'Darius Smith?
Or are you open up money to go get Micah Parsons, who wouldn't mind coming here on a friendly deal?
That's a very friendly deal, and that sounds crazy.
One could dream.
Yeah, that's a very friendly deal, and that's insane.
I'll come to Chicago for $8 million a year.
By the way, shout out Adrian Baker. Just dropped a $20 super chat. Didn't even say nothing in it. Just dropped that 20 on it.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Let me drop fire on y'all head real quick. Fire right there.
All right.
Shout out to you, my guy. Yeah, I mean that is kind of where my question marks lie right now. I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Bears do at 3 p.m. today. And it's going to be really interesting also to see who comes back on the practice squad. I think that's the big thing, right? We see some of these guys, and we love all our guys differently, right? So when we see an Ian Wheeler, there's no way he's gonna get picked up by somebody he's not gonna get picked up by somebody off waivers. He probably makes it through. He will probably be back on the practice squad. Austin Reed will probably be back on the practice squad. I would assume Joel Wilson is back on the practice squad. I would assume Power Echols is back on the practice squad. That's probably it. Because I was going to say maybe Samari Toure, but Samari might actually get picked up by somebody because he's got NFL experience and stuff like that. But yeah, listen, it's that time of year. I'm going to be very intrigued to see, what the Bears end up doing. I'll tell you what, it feels very different out there when you walk out there and you see not 90 people outside. Like it is a very empty football field right now. So it's going to get only more empty, and practice is going to see a little bit less. It's going to be a little bit less out there, man. And hopefully we see the best of the best on the football field. Papa Do That in the building said a few of these surprised. Few of these cuts surprised me. Wheeler was balling in preseason again. It truly comes down to what we saw yesterday. Special teams. Yeah. Special teams. Nobody's picking any of these dudes up to be starters. Yeah. They all coming in to be a special team player, and it's why we're bringing them in as well. But hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, hit a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do for Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC. It's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. 13 days away from Chicago Bears football. Bear down. I need bear downs in the chat. Bear down. 1 love. Peace.
2 days away from football, right? I mean, no, 9 days away.
9 days away from football. 13 days away from Chicago Bears football. Oh, I'm tingling.
Can't wait. Oh, boy.
Is that a bear claw? Or you just happy to see me? Never got to this, but over 300 in a chat. 300. I don't like it.
I'll try something else later. Maybe the sway isn't sway.